Blackpool, Britain's forgotten seaside gem. When you think of Britain's great seaside towns, one name always stands out. Blackpool. Once the crown jewel of the north, it was the place where memories were made. The lights, the laughter, the sound of waves crashing beneath the famous pier. But something changed. Today, many walk past its old glamour without a second glance. What happened to this iconic holiday destination? How did Blackpool go from a bustling escape to a place often overlooked? In this video, we're diving into the fascinating story of Britain's forgotten seaside gem and why it still deserves our attention. A glorious beginning. Blackpool's story begins in the 18th century when the idea of seaside holidays was becoming fashionable among Britain's elite. At first, it was a quiet village with just a few hundred residents and a beautiful stretch of coast. But by the 19th century, the arrival of the railway changed everything. Trains brought thousands of visitors from the industrial heartlands of the north, Manchester, Liverpool and beyond, looking for a break from factory life. The working class had discovered the beach, and Blackpool welcomed them with open arms. It wasn't long before the town was transformed. Elegant promenades were built, piers were constructed, and in 1894 the now iconic Blackpool Tower opened, inspired by the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Standing 158 metres tall, it became a national landmark almost overnight. The golden years. If you ask older generations about Blackpool, you'll likely hear stories of candy floss, fish and chips, donkey rides, and thrilling roller coasters. For much of the 20th century, Blackpool was the place to be. By the 1950s, it was hosting over 17 million tourists a year, more than any other British destination at the time. Families would save up for their summer week in Blackpool. They'd stay in bed and breakfasts, ride the trams, visit the pleasure beach, and queue for hours to get into the Tower Ballroom or watch comedians at the Winter Gardens. The Blackpool illuminations, first launched in 1879, added extra sparkle. Stretching for 6 miles, they were affectionately dubbed the greatest free light show on earth. Even celebrities and royals couldn't stay away. Blackpool was buzzing. The slow decline begins. So, how did this beloved seaside town lose its crown? It started in the 1970s. Suddenly, British holidaymakers had options. Cheap package holidays to Spain, Greece, and other sunnier destinations became all the rage. For the same price as a week in Blackpool, you could get guaranteed sunshine, sandy beaches, and even a hotel pool. As international travel became more accessible, domestic tourism shrank, and towns like Blackpool were hit hard. Guest houses closed. Local businesses began to struggle. Investment dried up. To make things worse, the north of England was also going through industrial decline. Unemployment rose. Poverty became more visible. Blackpool, once seen as a joyful escape from hardship, was now facing hardship of its own. The changing face of the town. Walk through Blackpool today and you'll still see glimpses of its former glory, Victorian architecture, arcades, and seaside charm. But many parts of the town are now marked by economic and social challenges. According to the Index of Multiple Deprivation, Blackpool ranks as one of the most deprived areas in England. Issues like low-income households, high unemployment, poor health outcomes, and housing difficulties are more common here than in many other parts of the UK. Central Blackpool, in particular, has struggled with run-down properties and absentee landlords. Many former hotels and B&Bs have been converted into low-cost accommodation, sometimes with minimal regulation. Blackpool Council has been making efforts to clean up the town, but the scale of the challenge is huge. And while tourism remains a part of the local economy, it's no longer the powerhouse it once was. A reputation problem. Another issue that haunts Blackpool is its reputation. Over time, the town became associated with rowdy stag parties, dated attractions, and bad weather. This image was fueled by tabloid headlines and social media clips that showed only one side of the story. It's not entirely fair. Yes, some parts of Blackpool can feel rough around the edges, but that's not the whole picture. There's a lot more to the town than stereotypes suggest. The reality is that many people still love Blackpool. Families still return every year. Couples still stroll along the beach. And for many northerners, Blackpool is still packed with personal meaning, memories, traditions, and nostalgia. But the question remains, how do you change a narrative once it's stuck? Signs of a comeback. Despite the challenges, Blackpool hasn't given up. In fact, in recent years, there have been real efforts to rejuvenate and reimagine the town. The local council, with support from the government, has invested millions into regeneration projects. The Blackpool Central Development is a £300 million plan that includes new attractions, entertainment venues, hotels, and even a heritage quarter. Meanwhile, the tramway system has been modernised, and Blackpool Tower, the Winter Gardens, and the Pleasure Beach have all received major refurbishments. These iconic landmarks are being protected and promoted as national treasures. And interestingly, as the cost of living continues to rise and international travel feels less affordable, more Brits are rediscovering the joy of UK seaside holidays. That shift could give Blackpool a much-needed boost. Community spirit and local pride. One thing that's never left Blackpool is its community spirit. The people here are proud, passionate, and deeply attached to their hometown. From local shop owners and market traders to volunteers running food banks and community hubs, there's a real sense of resilience in the air. Blackpool may be struggling in some areas, but it also shines with creativity and grit. The town is home to several arts organisations, theatre groups, and grassroots initiatives that are helping young people find opportunities and confidence. Even the Blackpool Football Club, once written off, is making headlines again, showing how much sport can rally a town and inspire hope. The untold beauty of Blackpool. What many people forget is that Blackpool still has a lot going for it. Its beachfront sunsets, historic architecture, and classic charm make it a rare place where past and present meet. Blackpool's 3 piers, North, Central, and South, are a reminder of a time when British engineering was unmatched. The Tower Ballroom, with its ornate ceilings and sprung dance floor, remains one of the most beautiful venues in the country. Even on a rainy day, walking the promenade with a hot cup of tea in hand can be an oddly magical experience. You don't need sunshine to feel the soul of this town. And then there's the Blackpool illuminations, still drawing millions each autumn. This tradition hasn't just survived, it's adapted. Each year brings new displays, themes, and surprises, proving that Blackpool knows how to honour its past while embracing change. What Blackpool really needs. So, what would it take to truly restore Blackpool to its former glory? Or better yet, create a new future? It's not just about shiny new buildings or flashier attractions. What Blackpool needs is long-term, consistent investment in housing, education, healthcare, and jobs. It needs support for the people who call it home, not just for the tourists who visit in the summer. It also needs a rebranding, a shift in perception. Too often, places like Blackpool are painted with a single brushstroke, rundown, chaotic, forgotten. But if we look closer, we see a more complex picture, one of beauty, history, and resilience. Is it really forgotten? Here's the twist. Maybe Blackpool isn't so forgotten after all. While it might not dominate holiday brochures like it used to, it's very much alive in the hearts of those who grew up there, visited as kids, or discovered it later in life. For many, Blackpool still represents something uniquely British, cheeky, charming, and unpolished. It's a place that's been knocked down more than once, but it keeps standing. That in itself is worth celebrating. Blackpool may not be the paradise it once was, but it's far from finished. This seaside town still has heart, history, and hope. If we look past the headlines, we might just see a place that's not broken, but waiting to shine again. Blackpool is not forgotten, it's just beginning a new chapter. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell.